Hi, I'm Sasha Mazurke, and you're listening to Tone Free, a podcast where we talk about why you don't need permission to be creative and how art can become a tool that helps us make sense of the world.
Life is an experiment. Nobody comes out playing the violin, but we all come out singing, just as you're singing lullabies to your child, sing them to yourself. It's not about how it sounds, it's about how it feels. Yeah, we do ourselves a real disservice in the overthinking. Be more. How about just take who you are and love it?
Today, our conversation is about singing, and more specifically, it is about voice, something most of us have from day one. And my guest is Spring. Her relationship with voice started as a Broadway singer, and then she did a lot of international touring, and now she's a music therapist and a founder of Yum Wellness. It's a Yum with 3M, and you can find the link in this episode description. This conversation is special to me because I feel like it gave a start to rebuilding my own relationship with my voice. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go. I want to thank you one more time for being here talking to me today, because I find that voice, maybe, just correct me if I'm wrong, if you think very differently about it, that would also be super interesting, that voice is something like a superpower that we all have, and we have it kind of on the side, and we often take it for granted or don't even pay much attention to it. I never sang, I never learned how to sing, but I noticed that even with just making noises, I often feel that those are the things that come naturally to me. It's almost like an instinct in a way to sort of produce certain noises that may be soothing. That was quite strong sensation when I had my babies, and it's kind of naturally comes. You start soothing them, and in a few minutes you notice that you started to sing and making some lullabies and things just coming out of your head. And I didn't really plan it, and I never sang, and I never really allowed myself to do it because I don't feel like I had voice. I mean, I went to the music school many years ago, and I was told that yeah, she can go, but there's nothing special here, so don't bother.
You talk about a lot of a lot of good points from the get-go. For one, singing is a birthright. It's not a talent. It's not a skill. It can be, but it's a birthright. We come into this world making sound. If you have a baby, you really familiar with that because babies, they hum to themselves, they cry, they coo instinctively. They're not taught that. They don't go to school to learn how to coo or hum or cry. It's who we are. We come out making sound. So it's it's innately part of who we are and how we express ourselves. I think culture has done a very big disservice to us because, like you just said, you went to music school and immediately, like, the kibosh was put on. Nothing special there. No great talent there, not anything interesting in the voice. And so immediately there's so much damage because you're shut down and told, like, it's not a gorgeous voice or a special voice, so don't use the voice. Like, what? It's not about how it sounds, it's about how it feels. It's about how you feel when you're using your voice. How it sounds is irrelevant. How it sounds is just a matter of taste. It's like not liking the color pink. You might not like the color pink, but it's a color. It's a beautiful color in the spectrum of color. It might not be your, I don't know, it just feels like the amount of damage that music teachers have done and music schools have done to children and adults alike is just, it's heartbreaking to me because it creates so much tightness and anxiety and stiffness in the body because at a young age we're told to be silent or that it's not good enough to be expressed. You know, voice is, it's not like the violin or the piano where like you're taught this instrument. Nobody comes out playing the violin, but we all come out singing. It's a different instrument. It needs to be treated as a different instrument. And because it's treated like the violin, we have a lot of very suppressed energy. People are not expressing themselves. They're afraid of their
Mhm.
own voices, their own instinctual voices, that which connects the inside of who you are to the outside of the world you're living in. It's a bridge. And by telling a child, like, your voice is not particularly beautiful or special, it's almost as if you take the bridge away. It's so damaging, you know. I'm glad that you're a young mother because you can teach your child at a very young age that the voice is not the violin. It is an instinctual part of us. That's why it's so connected to prayer in almost every culture. Prayers are
Mhm.
sung, whether you're in a mosque or a church or a temple, they're singing because there's this collective energy. There's this euphoria, there's this expression that is so healing and so nurturing, not only to yourself and your higher self, but then to other people in a group. This is not the
Yeah.
violin, it's not the trumpet, it's not. Every one of us have it. You know, when I say that, I always get like a little hesitant to say that because I have friends that are deaf, the deaf community, they express themselves without the voice, but then through the face and the hands in such an expressive way. Yeah, this is a birthright that most of us have. To silence that, it's like taking breath away from you. It goes so deep. It connects us to breath. It connects us to our heart. It connects us to the brain waves. It's something that runs through the whole vagus nerve, so it runs through the entire body. This is very, very, very much a part of our wholeness. So when there's
Yeah.
disconnect or anxiety, depression, for me, it's like one of the very first things I would ask a person or want a person to look at. You know, have you silenced yourself? Has someone silenced you? And why? And what would happen if you unsilenced yourself?
Yeah, it feels like I also started thinking about the voice, collecting phrases, and there's a lot of them. Like when my voice betrayed me, people say that they wanted to present themselves in one way, but then the voice sort of gave away the emotions they were not ready for. So often, what you say is that when you're in tune with your voice, right? And this probably feels amazing, but like what I said before, leaving the voice on the side, silence yourself, but then there's also an extreme version of it when you kind of is turned into an enemy. I have a friend who says like, oh, I try not to laugh so loud because I'm making too much noise, it's not pretty. I mean, those things especially strong at teenage years, and then with age majority of people kind of start rethinking their attitude to those things. But we probably do pick this from our environment a lot.
100% our environment, our culture have everything to do with it. I was living in Italy for many, many years, and then I started teaching voice in Germany and German speaking countries, also Switzerland, also Austria. It was wildly different from America. And so I'll say this, but this is the best example. When I would travel like by plane from Bologna to Munich, let's say, the Bologna airport was so loud. It's like, Marco, sono qui. You know, people are like yelling for their luggage. And it's just, you know, there's so much energy. You're on the bus and people are yelling. And then you get to
Yeah.
Munich and it's like a library. Like nobody's talking. Everyone's polite. There's nobody, if they're looking for their luggage, if they're talking on the subway, it's like whispering. It's a totally different culture that's like suppressed, in my opinion, based on my background and my loud family that interrupts each other to speak, and we don't think anything of it. Others would see that as rude. And I understand that now in my later life. Teaching Germans to be loud was very interesting to me because they really just didn't want to, like you said, laugh too loud. That was
Yeah.
considered rude, or talk too loud. It's considered rude. And so they just like literally like squashed themselves, shrunk. There's this beautiful Marianne Williamson quote that says, I'm not going to let myself shrink so that other people won't feel insecure around me. I'm paraphrasing it because I can't remember verbatim, but people shrink because they don't want to be too loud. They don't want to be overbearing. They don't want to be intimidating. They don't want to intimidate others. And I think when you allow yourself to be heard, she says, you unconsciously give people permission to do the same. That's the part of the quote that I think is verbatim. You unconsciously give permission to people to do the same. So I think it's quite the opposite. I think it's really a disservice to squish yourself, to silence yourself, to take your beautiful, rambunctious, bright laughter and like it's a crime. It's a crime. That's joy. Joy sparks more joy. It's just, it's like, I'm not going to smile because I don't want other people to feel intimidated. What? Yes. What are you talking about? You talk about like a light of a candle. One light can just continue to light other lights. It doesn't diminish the light of the original candle. It just keeps on spreading. And this is true of, I think, the voice. This is true of a smile. This is true of the voice. You give way to your voice, you create a confidence that gives other people permission. Yeah, a lot of voice is about permission.
Yeah.
Permission to just to be you, to be heard, to not have to make it smaller or bigger. Or you said the voice betrayed you, but that's not the truth. The brain, your thought betrayed you. Your judgment betrayed you, not your voice. Your voice doesn't betray you. Your voice is the truth.
Yeah, right. I think I understood you, but can I ask you to unfold it? Because you mean in the moment in which, like, I try to smile and go through the whole conversation, that is hard for me, and then my voice betrays me. It's not my voice betray me, like how.
Let me interrupt you. It's the judgment is getting in the way. The voice can't even come out because as you're talking, you're thinking about it and hearing it and judging it and editing it and not just letting it flow.
And also because I'm already judging myself, I'm not allowing myself to speak. And that's why I have to sort of keep smiling and pretending to be happy. But I'm not happy because I don't want to talk, because I'm judging myself because of how I speak. And this is what the voice is kind of telling others and me as well. So I could maybe listen next time.
Yeah, it's learning, I guess, to hear the judgment and say, okay, I guess you're in there, but you are not. You're in the car and we're going on this trip, but you are not going to be in the driver's seat. You can get in the back. I understand that judgment lives with us and it's constant practice to ignore the judgment. It's not a light switch, right? As much as we would like it to be. So I think the first step is just acknowledging that judgment lives with us and then saying, okay, you're there. I know you're there to protect me. I know that's why we have discernment and judging. This is safe. This is not. So you're coming along for the ride, but you're not driving. I'll check in with you from time to time. Otherwise, the car is like herky jerky. It can't even drive.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
You could drive and say, how we doing? Yep, doing okay.
Oh yeah, even if he's panicking in the back, sometimes that's fine too. Okay, I know where we're getting. So just wait, just wait, just wait. We just need to get through this.
Yeah, let me drive. I'll check in with you at the first rest stop.
Yes.
It's not betraying you. It's your mind it's our thoughts that betray us. It's always our thoughts. You know, I just finished reading so many books. Don't believe everything you think. This is a great book. The crux of this book is that thinking is the root of suffering. And if you can actually remember when you're your happiest, your freest, it's not in great deep thought. It's when you are free. It's when you are just flowing, when you are allowing yourself to just be free without the thought. And yes, there's a difference between like having an idea that just comes to you, right? It comes from somewhere else. Like when you all of a sudden have this idea. It's like divine intervention. The channel is open, as opposed to like figuring it and figuring and figuring and figuring, overthinking, which leads to suffering. I think this is applicable to the voice as well. I think in order to like discover, there has to just be a certain amount of like just abandonment, like stop the chatter. It's yeah, we do ourselves a real disservice in the overthinking, and I'm guilty of that as well. I think we all are to a certain point.
For sure.
The judgment of the voice, it's very cruel.
And then, yet at the same time, it's kind of difficult and very, very common, because when I just started those recordings and conversations, so many of my friends told me, oh, it's so amazing that you are fine with how you sound on the recording, because I hate how my voice sounds. And I must say that it's not that I love it, it's just kind of, I decided not to think about it too much. But my point is like how common this is. Majority of people, they don't like to hear themselves back. And I know it's different because we hear ourselves differently, because we hear ourselves from the inside. But still, it's not that we hear this different voice with curiosity. Oh, that's not how I hear myself. Majority says that I hate it, how it sounds.
That is true. I mean, even for me as a professional singer, I've been in the recording studio so many times. It can be painful to listen back to your voice, especially like under a microscope. But I think that's true of anything. It's true of like looking in the mirror for like a really long time, right? It's just like after a while, like, all right, I don't really want to, it's fine. You don't want to like stare, we become so, but that's the judgment. It's the judgment that arises. This is why
Yeah.
a lot of times in the recording studio, if I'm listening back to a track, any kind of track, I try to just close my eyes and move my body. I'm like, is it moving me? Is it moving energy? Yeah, it can be startling and uncomfortable to listen to your voice because you said it well, it's listening to the inside of your mind and your heart. They say that singing it's like feelings in
Yeah.
sound.
Yes, that's one of the reasons why like voice and singing is became so interesting to me, is that I noticed like, okay, I started singing for my kids, and then I realized that sometimes singing, even though I do it like quietly and it's mostly like lullabies, it changes my mood. And then I started thinking back at, okay, this is not about singing, but like making noises in a way. I remember how when I like had a personal drama and I was something like 19, my friend drove me to the fields and I was just screaming there, and it felt amazing. It really was. I really needed it, because she decided to do this, because when we told me, I was like, I don't want anything. I kind of feel like there's a huge stone here and I can't talk. I was like, okay, we're going to get rid of this stone. They just scream it all out. And it was just such a tiny thing, but it was really powerful. Yeah, and then also I wanted to say that I realized that I like the Russian mountains and the attraction that is scary, because it's that okay, legal permission in the city to just scream a lot. And I feel like I need it sometimes, and I need a place to do it.
Yeah, this is not unusual. I think there are certain gurus that used to take people on retreats, and I think it still happens today, somatic practices where you just go and you scream and you shake and you scream and you shake and you scream and you shake. Because the voice, it's a chakra, it's an energy point in your body, like your hips. Anyone that practices asana knows there's always so much hip opening exercises because so much energy is stored in the hips, and moving this around kind of puts the body back into alignment. I think the same is true of the voice. It's trapped here, and by moving it and freeing it, you make the invisible visible again. I mean, even if you think about it visually and you look at the chakra chart, and you have like the heart, and then you have the head, and in between these 2 points is the voice, like how you negotiate, like what's going on. And if you block this, you block the channel. There's so much being pent up between like the whole upper universe that we're connected to, like the cosmos, our brain, our vision, and then the lower half of our body, which is the heart, the grounding, the way we connect with the earth. Like in the middle, if there's this blockage, there's a total disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very common that this gets shut down. So by releasing it, you're opening the channels for wholeness between higher elevation, grounding, head, heart, all of it. It just becomes a well-oiled working machine. It's wild that we judge so fiercely the sound of our voice. I wonder why, we don't judge as severely like the way we walk, like the kind of walk, right? Everybody has a different kind of walk. It's very unique, but we don't really focus or shame that too much. I mean, I don't know. It's not as prominent as how judgmental we are about our voices. It's interesting to me.
Well, when you said now about the walk, I thought it has something to do with how far we can kind of spread ourselves with the voice, unlike the walking, because that's our statement to the world. I won't say at its biggest because, but maybe it is, because when the screaming, like we had to go to the fields, otherwise everyone will pay attention to what are you doing and what's happening here, and like you have to explain and you don't want this. So with walking, people need to pay attention to you, but with voice you're immediately sort of attract attention. You're like, it's a statement that you're here.
Yeah, that's true. I love it. Yeah, it is. I guess it is a scary place. I grew up on the stage. I perform my whole life. I've always been very comfortable on a stage. It's second nature to me. But yet I am able to understand that place, a stage in front of an audience, could be quite terrifying. I do comprehend that. And I guess for some, the voice is like stepping on a stage in front of a big microphone to a mass amount of people. Like it's that spreading of yourself. Yeah, especially through amplification, even like how traumatizing that could be to some. I do get that. I do get it. And especially if you're coming from a culture that's telling you to be quiet and blend in and not call attention to yourself. You're right. The voice calls attention. It makes the first impression, or one of them, I guess.
I watched some of your videos and there's a lot of group singing. And now when we talk about that it's scary and it's a statement, I also wanted to ask you about the difference between when you're singing on your own and when people sing together. But also, I just wanted to say that singing together sometimes may be like a safe way into singing at all.
So well said. Singing together is a great way in. Singing together has even more benefits because you get all the benefits of singing alone, plus you get the benefits of connecting to other people, of a sense of belonging. There's an emotional safety when we sing with others, maybe because we're all vulnerable. Yeah, you get to go probably deeper than you would alone. It's a great way to enter the voice. And also circling back to something you said earlier with your children is humming. This is a natural thing. It's the vibration that's so healing as well. There's something in that humming that's more than just like I'm making a pretty sound. It's like I'm soothing my nervous system by humming. So that's like another good entry point, just getting comfortable with that, even just humming in my car, humming while I'm cooking, humming while I'm pushing the baby stroller, just humming. It's nurturing. When you do it with a group of people, it's very empowering. Yeah, perhaps because we're not under the microscope, like listening to our own sound, we're listening to the way in which we collaborate with sound. And I think that is why, like I said earlier, that you'll find it in all cultures in forms of prayer, just to lift our voices and come together. It's such a emotionally safe, healing, expressive. That's why people come out of church and they're like, wow, they feel like their heart has just expanded. It has. You've been breathing as a group and singing as a group and not judging yourself for like an hour. Like that alone can cause so much expansiveness in your heart, in your body, and the way you carry yourself, just losing that judgment. That's the devil, is the judgment. That is the devil.
Yeah.
And when you're really in your body, in your voice, in your life, when you're just living, you're not in a place of judging. You're just not. So singing has the capacity to get you there. I always say with kirtan, singing in this call and response way, singing in groups. Someone interviewed me once and was like, why do you sing, or how did you get into it, or what do you like about it? I'm like, it is the quickest way I know how to get out of my head and into my heart, literally. Now, maybe that was a good entry point for me because I felt comfortable with my voice, but I think it's still a good entry point, even if you're not comfortable with your voice in a group. Get in a group, join a choir, start a small kirtan band with your friends, go to your local, I don't know, community choral thing, and just put yourself in an environment where you can sing with other people and just watch the magic, watch your heart expand, watch the judgment melt, get the juices flowing, like feel your humanity. It's a part of your humanity. And then it becomes addictive. Then you're just like, oh my God, I want to go back to that place. I imagine that place is, similar for professional tennis players, just like in the game and breathing and running, and they're not thinking about anything, right? They're just in the zone. And
Yeah.
that's how it is when you're singing in a choir or a group. It's the same. You're like in the zone. You're so free. And that feeling is addictive because it's our birthright. We're wired to have that experience. From the cooing, from the humming, from the baby crying. It's there from the get-go. It shows us day one. Day one.
Yeah.
And the last day, the last day, the same thing. The body's going to make a whole bunch of sounds on the last day. I was in the Netherlands touring, and a guy, he really made me laugh. He said, "Do you speak Deutsch?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "Well, everybody speaks Deutsch at the end of their life at some point." And I said, "What do you mean?" He was like, "Yeah, on your way out." Oh, 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 oh.
Oh, this is amazing. I studied German at school, so I understand the sounds.
It's a pretty good joke, but it's true. We come in with sound and we go out with sound. It's our birthright, and it's to live like a really full, expressive, passionate life. The voice is really a ticket to so much joy that's waiting there for us, and truth that's waiting for us to hear you, to hear what it is you have to say. We don't know. We can't read your mind. Yes, you can write it, I guess, and people can read what you have to say. This is a great way to express yourself. But when we hear you, it's like we get your fingerprint. It's so uniquely, we hear that voice that sounds like no other. It's yours, it's your breath.
Yeah, you said it now, and while listening to you, I thought, well, actually, silence, too much silence, it kind of scary, I think, instinctively. It's kind of too quiet, and it doesn't feel safe.
I think sometimes it feels too silent because you're left alone with your own thoughts. But if your thoughts are one of, I deserve peace, I'm enjoying peace, then the peace becomes way more enjoyable. The silence becomes liberation. There's liberation in the stillness, in the solitude, in the quiet. But if the stillness is just our busy minds overthinking, it's torturous. Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to fill it.
Yeah,
everyone's addicted to their phones and just watching little videos or anything that will take us out of our own head, because it's very chaotic in there sometimes.
Yeah. Well, the phones is like the whole scary different direction because how to say it's very addictive. I do feel sometimes that because there's also a lot of music sounds, everything's like, like we watch more if there's music. Marketers, they already know that you buy better if there's dynamic music and things like that. And because of that, the music sort of starting to get something that you sometimes want to put on the side just because it kind of feels it's hard to hide. Like we're overloaded with it. it's hard to aim for quality, listen to what you choose to listen to, something that in tune with your mood, with how you're feeling today, because huge chunks of this world feed you before you ask for it with those sounds. And it can be a lot. I do feel sometimes that it's too much, but I don't think I'm the only one. I think there are many other people who are sharing this sensation.
I agree 100%. I mean, that kind of leads us into, I don't know if it's a topic you really want to talk about so much, but a huge part of my world is music therapy. So for me, it goes hand in hand in singing because I'm a music therapist and sing to
Yeah.
people. However, we have the ability to be our own music therapist, even in the privacy of our own home or car. And most of the music that I actually listen to in my life, in this chapter of my life, is really calming, meditative music. I listen to it all day and all night because I feel like the world is too noisy. I feel like it's too loud. And I just want to calm my nervous system. And so I try to help it. And from the moment I get up, so it's this like light, easy jazz instrumental, just kind of lets me start my day slow, which I like. Then I have meditation music on as I'm getting ready, as I'm driving, just so that I feel like the ride is more beautiful and more cinematic. I'm creating the music to the movie of my life. I get to be the DJ and make it beautiful. Yeah, and there's science for it. The BPMs, beat per measure, of like while you're eating. You don't want to have this fast music while you're eating. You want to have it slowed down, before you're going to bed. You really want to kind of get yourself and your body regulated and bring it down. And all of that too is a great opportunity to just be like humming along, singing along in
Yeah.
that zone yourself. And we can so easily become our own music therapists. It's not really that difficult. I say this, even to residents that are taking care. I work with seniors, so I work with older people and many who are dying and some who are just trying to keep their longevity. And so familiar songs will get them singing and activate parts of the brain that evokes memories. Sometimes you just want to bring a sense of safety. And I'm like, put YouTube on, put their favorite songs on. If you don't have a professional to sing to them, we got so many streaming things now. Make your playlist of like their top 20 songs that they love, or if they like Frank Sinatra, just make a Frank Sinatra playlist, like songs that make them feel nostalgic and soothed and relaxed. People are so afraid of digital technology, and it can be so damaging, but it also can be so healing depending upon how you
Yeah.
use it.
Yeah. It's a tool and it depends what we do with it.
Deepak Chopra, I just recently finished his latest book called Digital Dharma, which is great. He really is the teacher that taught me how to meditate, and I'm a meditator. I mean, it's like a non-negotiable. Every morning, I need to start my day and show up for myself. And he wrote this book, Digital Dharma, so I was interested to hear what he had to say, because a lot of, spiritual beings like, oh, AI, it's not real, it's going to kill humanity, and then he writes a book about like how great it is. I'm like, okay, I want to hear what he has to say. Same thing. Ask Chat GPT, like, what's 3 spiritual practices I could integrate in my life in the next 3 months and give me prop each morning to activate it. Like, use this technology to help yourself. I recently went to the doctor's. I could not believe it. I honestly couldn't believe I went to this hospital. I'm in this very large waiting room, and there is a gigantic television, and on this television is some violent movie with machine guns. I was like, who approved this? How is this happening in a waiting room? Why isn't there like a whale with some beautiful soundscape music? It's We're fighting against culture in so many ways. Hospitals is where I would start first. Like, why isn't there soothing music in every hospital room? It's nuts to me. It's absolutely nuts. I do not understand it. But yeah, we're fighting against a lot of cultural stuff. It is a noisy world out there. We do need to soothe ourselves. We do need to find the music that calms our nervous system. We do need to find our own voice that can soothe ourselves. Just as you're singing lullabies to your child, sing them to yourself.
I love this advice.
It's the most natural thing in the world. Somebody interviewed Adele, you know, the pop singer. I can't remember what the interview was. They were like, do you sing to your kids? She's like, yeah, of course I do. They're like, oh, I bet it sounds amazing. She's like, not really. No, it just sounds like me just like humming like a regular, normal. Yeah, no, it doesn't sound particularly amazing. It's just me just mothering in a rudimentary, instinctual, human, connective way. It's not about sounding good, even for
Yeah,
her.
yeah. She's not performing for them, right?
Yeah, she was like, I don't even think it sounds good, honestly. She was being so honest. I mean, that's one of the reasons I just love her. She just seems so honest. Yeah, that's what she said. And I think that's really good advice. Like, just sing to your child, sing to your inner child, hum to your inner child, hum to your inner child that was told your voice isn't that good, nothing special there. It's nuts. We have to like redo all this programming of be quiet or your voice isn't special enough to be heard. What? That's nuts. Saying your breath isn't special enough to be heard. What? I want to read this because it's too
Yeah.
good not to. Our deepest fear. That's the name of it. Sometimes this is misquoted. They give the credit to Nelson Mandela, who I think used it, but it is Marianne Williamson who wrote, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. This is Marianne Williamson. She's not talking about the voice. She's talking about your
Yeah.
light. But to me, it's so applicable, which is why I used to read this at the top of every vocal workshop that I gave all over Europe. I would start with this because I would bring people into a group and I would say, please, if you can't do this, if you can't release your voice for yourself, can you do it for the person over there? Can you do it for the person sitting next to you? Can you do it for the person in the back of the room? Can we just make a pact that we're just going to allow each other to do it like you did when you went to the mountains with your friend and screamed? You made a pact that we're both going to go
Yeah.
scream. And I would ask the class, the group that gathered, wanting to free their voice, I would say, can we make this pact that we're going to allow ourselves to be big and shine so that we can give each other permission? And they were very empowering vocal workshops. I mean, there were tears from the blockages that people had had for
Yeah.
years. There was like a sense of coming home to one's voice or just experiencing a freedom that one hadn't experienced or had suppressed for so long. That quote by Marianne Williamson, it's so powerful. It's so, I never get tired of reading it. It's from her book, A Return to Love. So much of what she says is just so articulately delivered in a way that really hits home for me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It is really beautiful. When you've been describing now the workshops and you say that there's been tears and then there's a sensation of freedom, I have to say that yes, there's something to do with the voice. I can't say singing in my case, but screaming, loud talking involved, it does make me feel like physically bigger, stronger. When I'm nervous or stressed or I need to have a conversation ahead or something I need to do ahead and I'm like worried how it will go, like I try to kind of stretch physically, but voice would probably, I was listening to you and I thought, well, this is probably what I need to do before, just like hearing like myself, hearing my presence, hearing being in the same place and taking this amount of like little amount of space with the voice, you can expand hugely.
Yeah, but going into a group singing situation is a very good place to start for anybody that's feeling that they've just been suppressing their voice. The first thing is just knowing that, which is huge. And then the second thing is just taking a baby step and getting in there with other people that feel the same and just starting to do it. The fear starts dissipating. You just start melting away some of that hardness that you've built up around your voice. It just starts softening. And the humming does the same. It's just being gentle with yourself and giving yourself permission, changing the narrative of, oh, I'm don't like my voice. Oh, I was told it wasn't special, to like, you know what? I'm getting to know my voice as an adult. I'm reintroducing myself to my adult voice. I'm allowing my voice to be free. It's like even just changing the wording in your head, I think is a very powerful tool because the brain doesn't know if the music teacher said it or if you said it or if your mom said it. The brain just heard it's nothing special.
Yeah.
But it is special. It is special because what it is your truth. That's pretty friggin' special.
For someone who, I don't know, listening to this and thinking that, okay, that all sounds really interesting, how you can call it like a relationship with the voice. Like we do have relationships with our voices, and very often those are not very healthy relationships. Let's put it this way. Maybe we use our voice in a way. If I say my voice betrayed me, that's because I had certain expectations. This is how you have to behave. Like I'm stressed, you have to behave, you have to be perfect, straight, said everything that we remembered. Don't make any weird changes because we now have to be brilliant. And that's maybe not the best way to communicate with your voice if you want it to be on your side.
You have to behave, you have to be a certain way. Yeah, none of that sounds good. Just the wording of that, you have to do this, you have to do that. That's too much expectation, right? I mean, just think, would you talk to your child like that? Probably not.
No. That's interesting. But it's just like, I'm not saying that this is how I want to talk to him. I think that happens automatically. And it's not always easy to switch to a different pattern. As we said before, laughing too loud, and then again the critic comes in and says, well, you did it too loud, everyone turned their head and looked at you because you've been laughing at the joke longer than everyone else and louder than everyone else. Those are not sort of in tune kind of relationship with the voice. This is very much controlling and critiquing. What could be, I don't know, the steps to start changing it? Yeah, it is true, treating it differently, but see what exact steps maybe we can take.
Okay, I understand. I think what I'm hearing is just a whole lot of judgment and a whole lot of expectation and a whole lot of like meanness to yourself. You have to do this, you have to be this has to be this. I think the first step I would say is to become more compassionate with yourself. I say we because I am judgmental with myself in other ways too. I'm trying to be less judgmental. It's this inner critic that will sabotage your life. It's not your voice, it's not your body, it's your inner critic. It will suffocate you from the inside out. People do it. I say the body because that's another big thing that people struggle with. The way their body looks, where it's supposed to look like this. You're not supposed to eat the carbs. You're supposed to do this. You don't go out, and there's just so much shaming and critical, negative, damaging thinking. So it starts with our thoughts. Our thoughts become our character, whether we like it or not. So best to become more aware so that we can rewire them. Each time you hear that voice coming, it's got to be this. We got to do this podcast now. That voice has to be this. And maybe just changing the narrative to, I get to practice doing this. Oh my God, I get to practice doing this. I mean, you're a very intelligent woman. Obviously, you're creating a podcast and you're telling me at the same time that you struggle with your voice. Like, how beautiful is it that you knew to give yourself a podcast where you get to practice getting comfortable with your voice? Like, you're doing it right. You're doing it right. And the last bit of it, or the most important part of it, is how we talk to ourselves. I'll make the analogy you've probably heard a million times, which is, you get up in the morning, like, I have to go to work. Like, you're setting yourself up for a really lousy day. Instead of like, I get to go to work and feel purposeful and see these people, and your baby is crying, I gotta get up. Instead of, oh my God, I get to be a mother. I get to tend to someone and be of purpose and worthy. And it comes by reframing these issues into blessings. And the first step is, you're obviously very conscious of it. You've already have taken amazing, beautiful steps into practicing changing it for yourself, which is amazing. Give yourself that credit. Give yourself the small wins along the way. Like, today was a great day. I was like singing in the car, singing in the shower. Today I get to show up and practice showing up as a podcast host. How awesome is that? You have to be your biggest cheerleader. We're not often. We're sometimes our
Yeah.
biggest critic. I'm taking care of my mother, who has a lot of compromise situations going on in her life with Parkinson's and aphasia and things that are really challenging. And I'm constantly telling her, you get to be your best friend or your worst enemy. It just
Mhm.
depends on how you are talking to yourself. And I'm singing with her all the time, a lot of times, either with the guitar or even just karaoke, getting her to sing because she's losing her ability to speak. And instead of like, oh, that was terrible, I can't do it, it's like, wow, I did 5 songs. I'm having trouble speaking, but I sang 5 songs today.
Yeah.
How are you narrating your life to yourself? That will change your life in the biggest increments. Just stopping yourself when you're like, oh, I have to, oh, we got to, we get to, we get to. Just just the change a word, that it changes it. It really does change it. I get to. And maybe the practice is, I don't know, I'm gonna sing 1 song a day in the car out loud where no one can hear me every day. I'm gonna do that for like the next couple months
Yeah.
and just see what
Yeah.
happens. I'm just gonna do this human experiment. Life is an experiment. So experiment, and you're doing it. I don't even have to tell you, you're already doing it. You're showing up for yourself and doing this. Push it. Do more. Try it. What would happen if I actually sang every day? What happens if I just sing a lullaby, whatever it is? What if I joined a group? How do I feel? How do I feel? How's that making me feel? How's that making me feel? It's just a massive experiment at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, yes. When I'm listening to you now, I'm going like, yes, yes. And I do love experimenting. I changed countries where I lived, professions, and I do love to test it and see how it feels. But then also, sometimes I do forget to look at every single little bit, like you say, because it's not only the big things that are experiments, it's every single tiny thing. I don't know.
Your native language is what?
My native language is Russian.
And the language of the country you're living in now is what?
It's Italian.
And you're speaking to me now in what language?
English.
So you're a woman who is speaking 3 different languages on a regular basis with this gorgeous voice that is capable of expressing yourself in not only one, in not two, in three. Do you speak other language? I mean, it's a lot. It's amazing. To me, you're amazing. You're amazing. And you're thinking in different languages, you're expressing yourself in different languages. Like, you're amazing. Give yourself the credit. It's just beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's beautiful. I think we're so often like, oh yeah, well I do that. Oh yeah, well I do that. Like, dismissing these like huge things that make you this like radiant, gorgeous being. To be able to express yourself in a variety of languages, it's incredible. And to bring that forth from the internal to the external, it's incredible. Even just reminding yourself of that, change your relationship with it. And maybe the
Yeah.
mantra is that your voice has betrayed you, because I don't think your voice has betrayed you at all. I think your voice is like creating this really rich, juicy life of so much different expression. And so maybe you just need to, like you would a child, speak nicer to your child. Say, wow, you're an amazing lady. Look what you're doing. Look how you are communicating. Look how you are taking this innate superpower and shining this light in a variety of, yeah, of language, of texture, of sound. It's fantastic. The judgment is the thing that needs to be addressed. It's not your voice. Your voice is unbelievable. It's gorgeous.
Thank you. I'm not used to that amount of compliments.
It's the
Thank you.
truth. I'm reminding you of who you are. I'm just reminding you of who you are. We forget. We're so hard on ourselves. We always think we have to do more, be more. How about just take who you are and love it?
Yeah, that's very true. And we want our kids and our loved ones to do that, and then we don't do it to ourselves.
Yes. And I'm saying it because I'm certainly guilty of it myself. Much of my life, I was a performer. And as a performer, it's a tough way to live your life. You're constantly hustling for the next gig. There's no job security. From one show to another show is what I did for like the first 30 years of my life. And then I'm making records, and then I'm touring, and I'm setting up the tours, and I'm booking the doors. And it was a very do it yourself kind of world that I created. And it was had a really some beautiful highs and some heavy lows, just because it was a lot for me to manage that. So now I've created this wellness business here in Los Angeles. I have a healing arts company that delivers live music and guided meditation and movement for older adults. And I have about 10 facilitators that I've trained that do this, and we do about 100 gigs a month. And it's working, and it's my own business, and it's beautiful, and I'm very grateful I get to do this on the daily basis. I'm really grateful I get to do this. I found myself like, what's next? What do I got to do next? How do I build a business? What do I got to, because this old mentality of like, has to be more, has to be more. I got to build that and get the business bigger. And maybe I build it in another state and I spread it and I teach people in New York and I go to Chicago. And it's like, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. This is me talking to myself. Like your whole life, I understand why you're thinking like this. You're coming from this hustle mentality for decades. But maybe, just maybe, especially that I'm taking care of my parents now, I'm older, I'm slower in certain ways, I need things calmer. Maybe I could just enjoy what it is I have for a year or 2 years. Maybe I don't have to do more. Maybe I just enjoy this and work on just being and enjoying and spreading my light and sitting in it and just living it in a beautiful way. That would be enough. There doesn't have to be another task attached. That's why I'm saying this, because I think you are doing a tremendous amount. And you're a mother, you're an entrepreneur, a creative, a businesswoman, all these things going on. And we need to give ourselves permission to enjoy it, to enjoy what got you to this point. 5 years ago, some of the things in your life were probably just a distant dream, and now they're your reality. When do we schedule time to celebrate it?
Yeah.
And that's not like a party for 4 hours. That's like, that could be a year before you have to think of what the next thing is. This is a year of celebrating what took me 5 years to create.
Yeah, absolutely.
I say this because, again with the voice, it's not the voice. The voice is not the problem. The problem is always our relationship to it. How we talk about it is not always how we talk about it to the world, but actually how we talk to ourselves about it. You have to be your best friend. What would your best friend say to you about your voice? They might say something like I did, like, you're amazing. You're thinking, acting, communicating, creating a life in 3 different languages. Like, this is already such a feat. You're doing a podcast like in not even in your native tongue. That's so beautiful. That's your voice that's doing it. Give yourself the credit. And as you continue to give yourself the credit, you get more comfortable being bigger. Because like you said, it's like taking up
Yeah.
more space. You get more comfortable taking up space because you realize that by taking up more space, you're actually giving the world more light. You're not taking up to be a jerk, to be this arrogant, let me tell you something. No, it's, I don't know you so well, but I know that that's not the case. The intention is so beautiful. So allow yourself the grace to do it the way you see it and want it and just be it. And it's a practice. Like life is an experiment, it's a constant practice. So just practice speaking to yourself in a better way. Practice your relationship with your voice. Practice the way you talk about it. Practice the way you think about it. Catch yourself and reframe it. I'm all about a second chance.
Yeah, and then the third one and the fourth. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a constant practice. You know, we didn't come out talking. We had to like practice and learn the language. How many years does it take? Like 2 years most for children to speak their first word. Like that's years. We don't give
Yeah.
ourselves enough time. So if it takes 2 years to re-practice the way we speak, that's not a lot of time. That feels
Yeah.
reasonable.
Yeah, it's true. And when you learn a new language, that will totally feel reasonable. Yeah, when we talk about different ways of talking, different structures, it is a different language in a way because we need to restructure the whole system.
You're learning a new language. It's called kindness and compassion. Yeah, people sometimes equate self-care as selfish, but you'll see the kinder you start speaking to yourself, the kinder you're going to start speaking to your children and your loved ones. So the whole practice is not about becoming a jerk and being bigger. The whole thing is about just becoming a more realized version of love that you are. And the voice is
Yeah.
just one tool, but that inner voice is as important as the outer one. If the inner one, if you can relearn the inner voice and how to create a dialogue that creates light, the outer voice will become more free.
Well, it will feel the internal support, right?
Yeah, and usually that's just permission. It's not a lot of overthinking, like, how am I talking now? Like, I don't want you to become like this, crazy lady overthinking it. The whole point is just to say, I give myself permission. I give
Yeah.
myself permission. I give
Yeah.
myself permission. I think it's a very short little reminder phrase. I give myself permission to build up the confidence as I built up the confidence to speak in Italian, and I built up the confidence to speak in English. I built up the confidence to have a new relationship with my voice, and I look forward to it. And I'm excited and proud of myself that I'm giving myself this experience. So cool.
Thank you very much for this conversation. I would need time to digest and incorporate everything I heard today, and I will carry it in a special place in my heart, honestly. So thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you for reaching out. I hope this helps as many people as possible. You've certainly got me thinking a lot about voice in a way that I haven't in a while. So, yeah, just bringing new perspectives. So, thanks for sharing your voice.
Please, if it resonates, like, share, comment, maybe send it to a friend. That helps enormously, especially at the very start. Thank you.